Lesson 6-3 is on finding percents. Our learning target is I will find percents. Alright, so in the last section you were just estimating. Now we're going to find the exact value of what these percents would be. So what percent of 92 is 66? One way to look at this is to continue on with what we've been doing in all of chapter 5, which was making proportions. Now in proportions, with these percent problems, we can think about it this way. What number is 100 as 66 is to 92? So in proportion, think about your percent is always out of 100. So whatever the percent would be is out of 100. Now we know that 100 is the whole, like a whole part or the whole thing. And then the top of your other part of your proportion or your ratio would be the part that you actually have. So going through here, you're always going to know that this part is 100. You've got 1, 2, 3 different parts of the proportion that you need. You'll be given 2 of them. So in this case, we don't know the percent, which is going to be this number here. But we do know these 2 numbers here. One is a part and one is the whole. So looking through here, when they're saying of 92, that will tell us that is going to be the whole, and the is the part that we know. So the percent out of 100 equals 66 out of 92. And there you can just cross multiply or do whatever you want to do to solve for n to get an answer of 72, which means 66 is 72% of 92. Now, another option that we could do is we could make an equation for this. So just looking at this, what percent, the word what will give you a clue to what your variable is going to be. So again, we don't know what the percent would be, so it's going to be like your x. Now of, we could just say always means times. And then we have 220, and is always means equals 88. So this also works out. So now from here you just do your algebra and get p by itself. Divide both sides by 220 to get 88 divided by 220 will give you a decimal of 0.4, and then just convert that decimal to a percent to be 40%. So both ways work. You can choose whichever way that you like best. And then we can just, another way to just check your work is to try both methods, and if you get the same answer, then you know you're doing it right. So try this one out either way that you would like to do. You can hit pause now, and we're back. So this way is through the proportion way. I'll go back. So the answer should have been 15%. And if you would have done it with the equation way, you would still get the exact same answer. Okay, now try this one. Hit pause now. And we're back. They're going to model this with the equation way. Either way would still give you the same answer of 10%. All right. Next one, 4 friends volunteered to cut the grass around their neighbor's house. Jay cut 23% of the grass. Amy cut 1/5 of the grass. Ken cut 0.31 of the grass, and Bryn cut the rest. What percent of the grass did Bryn cut? Okay, so with this one, you're going to have a bunch of different values. We're going to want to make them all the same. So starting off with this, 1/5 is 20% from here. And we also have 0.31 is 31%. So next, subtract the percents you know from 100% to find what's left over. So take those that we know, 100% minus 23, which is what Jade cut, minus the 20% right here, minus the 31%, and then Bryn cut the rest, so it means she cut 26%. Another one, Jeremy organizes his movie collection by genre. 2/5 of his collection are dramas, 0.325 or 325,000 are action films, 3% are documentaries, 19.5% are comedies, and the rest of his movies are independent films. What percent of his movies collections are independent films? So we're saying the rest are independent films. Same thing. Get these all to be the same form. Make them all percents. And then we'll just subtract those from 100. So 100 minus, now this would be 40% from the 2/5, minus 32.5% over here from that decimal, minus that 3%, minus the 19.5% gives you 5% left over, which means that must be the percent for the independent films. All right, try this one out and see how you do. Hit pause now. And we're back. 7%. Try this one out. Hit pause now. And we're back. 22%. All right, last one. The city of Dallas, Texas has a population of approximately 1,189,000 people. The population of the city of Austin, Texas is 55% of the population of Dallas. To the nearest 1,000, what is the population of Austin? So again, we go back to thinking about this as either an equation or a proportion. So if it's a proportion, we want to pick out what is the total, what is the whole, and what is the part. So in this case, we're thinking like 55 is to 100 because now we know that the percent, we have that part, but we just don't know the part. So we know we have the percent. This is always going to be 100. We have the whole. This is what we're thinking of. Dallas is the whole. Now find the part. Now just cross multiply and find P. When we do that, we get an answer of to the nearest 1,654,000 people. If you made an equation, that still would have worked out just fine. Now keep in mind, if you have a percent over 100, the part is actually going to be greater than the whole. So after a drought, a reservoir had only 66 2/3% of the average amount of water. If the average amount of water is 57 million gallons, how much water was in the reservoir after the drought? So we're just looking for what is this percent of our, we try to figure out if that's the total or the whole or the part. What we have is this would just be your whole. We have our percent. So again, we're looking for the part. They're making an equation here once again. Either way you would have set it up would give you an answer of 38 million gallons of water. So try this one out. Hit pause now. And we're back. So 30,400,000 gallons. And the last one, try this one out. Hit pause now. And we're back. It's about $75,000. And that is all.